man named Sleepy Joe Biden, he used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid.
He is in sharp mental and physical decline. And we now have a number for it. 39%. That is the measure of Donald Trump's physical decline since his first time in the White House. 39%.
He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. This was Trump on Biden recently, adding, quote, "I'm not a sleeper." Okay, Donnie.
A fraud war room using this kind of technology, because we'll know who you are and who your doctor is. We can block this. We're going to have remarkable advances in how consumers can use their own records. We'll have beneficiaries be able to get MAHA advice and prevention tips and even be able to nudge them and reward them perhaps for that. And all this comes back to one fundamental issue, Mr. President, which is leadership. I think 60 people, the biggest, the best, the willing, came forward because of your leadership, because you weren't going to take no for an answer, and they know it. We are building a robust and safe, I emphasize that, safe system. It's going to protect the data better than we could have imagined. We're going to be able to accomplish goals that all of us wished from day one that would be in place. These pledges are now confirmed. They're signed in public. And you have therefore empowered Americans to own their property, which is their medical records.
Trump is not happy that this video is doing the rounds, but at 79 years of age, he is the oldest person to be elected to the presidency, and it's clear the man's aging and struggling. New reporting from the New York Times aimed to shed light on what anyone not in a cult can see. The president appears more and more fatigued as he nears the end of his first year in office, and man, what a 10 years this first year has been, huh? Well, according to reporting in the Daily Beast, a new investigation also adds to the issue, claiming that Trump's schedule and public appearances have significantly changed. According to reporting, the president has sharply reduced his public events, showing up far less often than in his first term. And the White House schedule now begins later in the day, and on at least one occasion, he reportedly appeared drowsy, which of course rightfully prompted fresh scrutiny, not just from critics, but from everyday Americans wondering, if the job's tough now, how will the man hold up for another 3 years?
In an article published tonight by the New York Times, Katie Rogers and Dylan Friedman report under the headline, "Shorter Days, Signs of Fatigue, Trump Faces Realities of Aging in Office." The Times has documented the newly abbreviated schedule for the struggling 79-year-old man. Quote, in 2017, the first year of his first term, Mr. Trump's scheduled events started at 10:31 a.m. on average. By contrast, Mr. Trump in his second term has started scheduled events in the afternoon on average at 12:08 p.m. His events end on average at around the same time as they did during the first year of his term, shortly after 5 p.m. The number of Mr. Trump's total official appearances has decreased by 39%. 39% less Donald Trump. That's what we're getting now. Donald Trump was the laziest president we had ever seen in his first term. He is now 39% lazier. And he is now apparently struggling with a 5-hour workday. And of course, none of us have seen him do anything that in any way meets the definition of work during those 5 hours. The Times reports Mr. Trump appeared to doze off during an event in the Oval Office. And so we are now covering the physical decline and fall of Donald Trump. Last night, I mentioned Donald Trump's age a couple of times when I pointed out that you can see the 79-year-old man who gets very little sleep bewildered about how he is losing his grip on the Republican Party. And there are people who are in full-blown dementia in their early 60s. We all age differently, and Donald Trump is aging just fine for someone who should be watching TV all day and playing golf occasionally, but he's aging terribly for a president. But Donald Trump at his best age would have been the stupidest president and most incompetent president in history and the most corrupt. A younger Donald Trump is not a better Donald Trump.
And the other issue is that there's absolutely no clarity from his chief propagandists. I mean, these are the same people that criticized Biden's age relentlessly for doing everything to mask his fatigue, but they seem hell-bent on outdoing their predecessors. Take, for instance, the abrupt reveal from Trump that he had undergone an MRI at Walter Reed, calling it, quote, routine.
Walter Reed mentioned advanced medical imaging. Did you get an MRI? Can you tell us what that was?
I did. I got an MRI. It was perfect. Yeah. I gave you the full results. We had an MRI, and in the machine, the whole thing. Yeah. And it was perfect. Yeah.
Did you say what in particular?
You could ask the doctors. In fact, we have doctors traveling with us, but I think they gave you a very conclusive. Nobody has ever given you reports like I gave you. And if I didn't think it was going to be good either.
MRIs are not part of any routine presidential physical, and the White House did not notify the press beforehand, nor did they provide a clear explanation afterward.
Kristen, there's also something of an update from the president on his health. He revealed to reporters that he's recently got an MRI. What are we learning about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was this moment on Air Force One where we had asked a number of times, including the last press briefing from the press secretary, what kind of advanced imaging President Trump had gotten during his last trip to Walter Reed. Just a reminder, that had come out as part of the release. And the press secretary said she didn't know. Well, President Trump was directly asked on this plane whether or not he got an MRI, and he said yes, he did. Now, according to him, he said that the results were perfect. Unsurprisingly, it's President Trump. He did not say what the scan was for or why he ended up getting it, and then he kind of proceeded to say over and over again, "You already got all these results." But to be very clear, we had not heard anything about this MRI in particular. We were asking about it, but we had heard about this idea of advanced imaging. Of course, this just raises more questions since he had already had his original checkup. This was not a full year later as to why exactly he went in for this MRI.
All right, much more to be asked and learned about that one for sure. Kristen, it's great to see you. Thank you.
So the lack of transparency paired with inconsistent details about all that weird swelling and bruising on his hand, it fueled speculation that the administration is hiding the true extent of the president's health issues. When videos like this surface, it just adds to it. And the backlash isn't limited to media speculation either. It's reflected in public opinion. Look at polling data from November in 2025, which shows Trump's approval rating well underwater, some of his worst numbers in both terms.
But the issue of affordability, the issue of how people feel about the economy popping up in our latest polls, personal financial situation now, excellent, good, 40%, only fair or poor, 60%. You can see that changing from July. Condition of the U.S. economy, also a perception totally upside down, 76 to 25, and that changing a bit. And then economic conditions for the nation and you personally, again, 25% positive, 76 negative for the nation, and then 60-40 personally. So
look, they're all in red. They're all in the negative territory. But on immigration, he's 5 points underwater. Foreign policy, 8 points. Trade and tariffs, he's 17 points. The economy, 18 points. But look at the Epstein case. He is 39 points below water on the Epstein case. His net approval is 39 points in the negative. My goodness gracious. What Donald Trump has been selling on the Epstein files, the Epstein case, the American people, simply put, have not been buying at all, Sarah Seidner.
With people wondering if he is fit to actually do the job. And more so, wonder if the president can handle the pace. The presidency isn't getting any easier, and he is becoming more and more of a liability.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.